Good morning. Happy Wednesday. This is the morning rush, the morning empowerment call for busy, heart centered executives up to cause and be the change in the world. And if you're here, thank you for being part of the change needed in the world. I especially want to thank any of our new people showing up today and shout out to Tim. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Tim. And today we're talking about Chop Wood, Carry Water. This is the book by Joshua Medcalf, and the subtitle is How to Fall in Love with the Process of Becoming Great. So, this is about the process. Joshua at the beginning says, focus on the process, not the outcome. So, we've been talking about a lot of different ways of working here, both in manifesting, choosing the goal, the number. But Joshua takes a different approach with Chop Wood, Carry Water. It's about the love of the daily tasks, about consistency. He talks about loving the daily grind, the routine. I want to say maybe not grind so much as consistency and showing up, and rather than obsessing over an end result, finding fulfillment in the journey. The other part he talks about is embracing failure and learning from it. So an integral part of success, according to Medcalf, and I believe this too, is failing. And instead of fearing failure, actually see it as an opportunity for growth and learning. And the last is developing patience and perseverance. So it's about building a muscle. If you think of chopping wood and carrying water over time, you develop perseverance. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, you develop a patience, a discipline. So he really talks about the importance of patience and perseverance when achieving a goal. Greatness isn't achieved overnight, he says, that it's usually sustained effort and dedication. So there's something that happened about a month ago. And currently I'm here at the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies in Rhinebeck. And I was offered to teach. I'm leading my men's retreat here, a 5-day deep dive into the heart of men, uncovering the shadows and healing. We're doing some profound work around fires, and there was a moment when this wasn't going to happen. But every day I took consistent action. I didn't let the fears or the registrations or the drama around it take me off course. I just kept taking action. And sure enough, this was a dream of mine to be here. And 4 weeks later, I'm here. I said, if there's one man's heart I can change, and makes a difference. But I did not give up. In fact, the program director came to me yesterday and said, I've seen the ads you put up everywhere, and I apologize that we didn't do more on our end to market you. And they're going to bring me back, even though I didn't even meet their minimum. So I went from being under their minimum to canceling to they're going to bring me back to teach more in the future. That's because I'm persistent. I showed up and I continue to hold space and take action. We can blow the results out of the water if we are persistent and consistent. So that's what I want to really set into us today. Like, where are the ways that you can start to overcome those obstacles just by being persistent? Coach Money Chris is co-hosting with me today. And Chris, I want to know how this is landing for you. Chop wood, carry water. Is there any part of your life that you've seen like process is important? Like getting into the discipline, the daily task, where you've seen embracing failure or persevering through has made a difference for you?
Yes, it's actually wonderful. And I keep telling David, like, everything that I'm dealing with in my life is completely in line with whatever we're talking about during the morning rush. And I always talk about like this, when he's talking about like just being there for the journey, when I'm working with my clients and even myself, I talk about creating consistently disciplined habits, right? And then sometimes it's about the journey, whether you're trying to get out of debt, trying to save money, trying to get healthy, right? All the things that we do consistently adds up. So I love to share a story about that and why like it's about the journey. I had a client many, many years ago when I first started out, had over 6 figures in debt. It took them 6 years. and they had to be consistently disciplined in paying off the debt. And sometimes life would happen and they just followed the journey, and can over time they finally got out of debt and have money saved now, right? But it's the same thing. If I have a lot of friends that have lost like 100 pounds or even 50 pounds or whatever that is, like it's being consistently disciplined and also being part of that journey. And I was walking around this morning, I went out for a walk, and I was just sitting there and just looking at like the flowers and the plants and hearing the birds, and I'm like, this is part of the journey. When we are doing our like morning routines, when we're doing anything, like being present throughout the things that we're doing is so impactful and powerful. It just helps you have gratitude for right now as well.
Beautiful story. Thank you so much for that, Chris, and that you have seen, the results in your own life too, and with your clients. There's one thing that reminded me of quickly. My business partner, Adam Lamb, when I first met him, he was doing 75 hard. And if you're not familiar with that, it's 75 days of doing a lot of disciplined things. You eat really clean, you exercise twice a day, and it's designed to be hard. And it's also about like going hard, like doing discipline. It's really everything about chop wood, carrying water, and so much of that is that if you fail at any point, you start over. So Adam was talking to me a lot about failure. He's like, dude, I keep getting I failed like 10 times. I had to start over. 75 hard took me like a year. But in his failure, he learned so much about himself. So that's really what I want to leave it here for you all. Chris, do you want to give us a I see you, Peter. Thank you. Yes, and I understand that. Do you want to say something about that, Peter, inside of this chop wood, carry water conversation?
Yeah, I think the first thing to succeed in anything is to know yourself and to know what humanity means and how it works and how you work. And Brenda's comment is the perfect example. Like, I dropped at 20 days and felt like a failure. Like, you do 5 days of 75 hard, you're a goddamn hero. Like, you do 5 days, you're a goddamn hero. We are human. We are not automatons. We're not robots. We're not artificial intelligences. We are so perfectly imperfect. We are so wonderfully flawed. And that's what makes us amazing and special. And I will never, ever, ever teach my kids that if you don't do something consistently for 75 days, you're a failure. And if you want to put systems like that in place in areas that are really important, like Alcoholics Anonymous, for example, it comes with huge support systems around it so that when you do drop, when something does go wrong, there's a whole group of people to carry you and pick you back up and explain how amazing you are and it's okay and you're just human. And 75 hard is, yeah, let's just cast people into the wild, give them this wonderful thing, and then expect them to be consistent for 75 days. And if they don't, they have to restart from day one, AKA the system is designed to say everything you did was worthless. So people like Brenda get to that, and then majority of people in Brenda's situation go, well, fuck it, I can't do it. And then they don't try to do it for another 20 days. And every system you have, I promise you, you're going to fail at it on a regular basis. On a regular basis, you can have the most diligent, most specific, most aligned systems in the world. And it's kind of what we said yesterday. It's not about staying in integrity. It's about how quickly you get back in integrity. Like Jordan's message in the WhatsApp group last night was, yeah, I promised I'd do this by this time. I didn't do it, but better late than never. That is 100% accurate and 100% true of him going, oh shit, I screwed up. I didn't do what I said, but that's okay because I can do it now and that's still valuable. So yeah, I have such a dislike and hatred of 75 hard because it's teaching flawed, beautiful, amazing human beings that trying and doing a third of something is worthless. because it insists you restart from the system is. You fail, you restart. Right? That's horrific messaging, in my opinion, and I think that it shouldn't be part of any environment of love and support. And I honor anyone that's done it, and if it works for you, that's fantastic as well. These are just my opinions. But
I
I've
really
seen so
appreciate
many
it.
people get to that and
Yeah,
fail.
thank you, Peter. And I wanted to
Say
say,
what
you know, I
Brendan said.
appreciate a differing opinion. We come together not always to agree, but to learn from each other. And so, again, it is about the journey, not the destination. So, thank you for that, Peter.
Mhm.
You know, it is a day at a time, and to be here is an incredible success already. So, I want to thank you all, and shout out to Brian May. Welcome, dude.
Right. Yeah,
Thank you
so
so much.
Peter, yeah, and I want to just kind of go off of like what Peter was saying, right? Like sometimes it's not about, oh, I'm going to do this for 75 days and then I missed a day, so now I have to start all over. Like, let's bring in, I want to just focus on this before we go into the breakout rooms. So yesterday we all put, or most of us put our 3 promises that we'll have done by Tuesday, right? And then I love how we already have this commitment. Hey, we were going to post that by 10 a.m. And then Jordan's like, oh, oops, I didn't get it in on time. And here it is. You know, I did this at this time. And then now, like, I'm just paying attention to what everybody's saying. And it's the journey of it, right? It's like, it's not looking at, oh man, I didn't do that at that exact time or that exact way. And that's okay, because I'm just going to pick myself up where I am right now and go on. To me, that's the journey. So as we go into the breakout room, I would like to have you all talk about what is an area in your life that you want to pay more attention to the journey in, right? So we're talking about our promises, we're talking about our habits, our routines, and all these things. Where's an area of your life that you want to just focus on the journey right now, instead of if you're doing a good job or not? So that's the request for the breakout room. And then I'm excited to see you all when we get back.